What's up, YouTubers? Brother, it's so back again for another video, man. Today we got a video uploaded by Cosmic Wonder. This one, Andrew Garfield finally talks Spider-Man No Way Home and future Spider-Man movies. Is he going to confirm finally what it is we've been speculating on the last couple of weeks about the potential of there being TASM 3, aka The Amazing Spider-Man 3, and him also being the main Spider-Man for the Sony Spider-Man universe, Sony Spider-Man. SSU, right? SPU? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, Sony Pictures, but I don't know. But yeah, hopefully, he's not playing the, doing the whole werewolf thing, and he's actually being forefront with us about what is truthfully taking place between Marvel Studios, Sony, and himself as Spider-Man. So before we get into it, y'all let me know down below in the comments, how was your day? Hopefully it was pretty good. If it wasn't, hopefully this makes it just a little bit better. Let's get it, man. Let's go. Let's see what Warren has to say.
What's going on, everybody? It's Warren.
What's up?
Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. And Andrew Garfield is finally talking about his role returning as his Spider-Man in Spider-Man No Way Home. Remember when
I started to see a lot of clips too come from this movie.
He wasn't the werewolf, when he was very adamant
Yep,
that he
I
wasn't
remember.
the werewolf. And remember when he said that the photo was photoshopped on Jimmy Fallon?
Well, if you show me the photo, I can tell you whether it's me or whether it's a real thing.
It's
But
been
until I
erased.
see
It's
the
been
photo-
erased off the internet.
Oh, how convenient! I heard
He
about it,
played it off though.
and I did
Kinda
see it,
good. Kinda.
and it's a Photoshop.
Nah, man.
We say no.
Nah,
I'm
man.
trying to manage expectations. You say no.
Well, now here we
played
are.
it
And
real
obviously,
nicely,
we
though.
all know now that he is actually in Spider-Man No Way Home with Tobey Maguire. And this is the first time that he's actually opening
Spoken
up
about it.
about being in the film.
Got
In an
you.
interview with Variety, he actually talks about a lot, including what it was like when he first got the call from Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal over at Marvel and Sony. And they
Gotta
actually
hear
talk
this.
about his future coming up. There have been a lot of rumors and reports about whether or not
his
he's going to be
future.
returning. A lot of reports about him being in multiple projects, maybe both in the MCU and in the Sony universe. So this article is
Really?
going to
I
shed
didn't know about
a
the
lot
MCU
of light
bit.
on what that was like when Andrew first got the call, what it was like working on Spider-Man No Way Home with Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland, and if he is open to return for some future projects. So let's dive into it. But first, if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU, Sony, Spider-Man,
Haven't already
universe,
subscribed to Cosmic
and
Wonder, man.
Spider-Man news. So the title of this Variety article is titled, Andrew Garfield finally spills about Spider-Man return and future. And we're going to go down to the first question that they ask him, which is, starting simple, why did you say yes to No Way Home? And here's what he said.
It would have been
I
weird
wasn't
if he hadn't
expecting
been in
to
there.
ever have a
Would it have been
conversation
just
again
like
about
Tobey, or
potentially
the
playing
other way
Peter
around?
Parker. I felt very excited to just be a fan again. But I got this call from Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige and John Watts with this idea. It was immediately undeniable.
Hey.
It sounded incredibly fun, incredibly spiritual, trippy, and thematically interesting. On a base level, as a Spider-Man fan, just the idea of seeing 3 Spider-Men in the same frame was enough.
Right.
This is pretty cool because I think Andrew, because of the hate that he got for the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, which again is not his fault.
Yeah, I thought, let me be completely honest. I thought the Amazing Spider-Man, little series or whatever, the duology, it's not a trilogy, it's a duology as of right now. I thought it was pretty decent. And in fact, I think, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I put both of those films above the MCU Spider-Man films, besides No Way Home. I put those above the MCU Spider-Man films, besides No Way Home. Therefore, I put Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 above Far From Home and Homecoming and my own personal ranking. So I don't think they're bad at all. In fact, I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 is better than Amazing Spider-Man 1, but that's just my opinion, you know? Everyone's opinions are different.
But I think he did a really good job at playing Spider-Man. It's not his fault that the movies weren't necessarily good. But I think this is really cool
It
because
was
he
alright.
clearly put
I
all that
like
behind
him,
him,
for
right?
the
I'm
most
sure he
part.
went through a lot, but eventually he did put all that behind him and became a Spider-Man fan because he said
Oh, yeah.
so many times he's a huge Spider-Man fan, a huge Spider-Man fan. So he finally got to a
Huge
place, it sounds like,
Spider-Man
where he's
fan.
just sitting back and enjoying everything. And then he gets this incredible call from Amy Pascal over at Sony and Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios. And they ask him to come back as Spider-Man. Here's what he continues to say. The pitch was really, really enticing. They said, you played this character in your way, and what would you want to explore if you had an opportunity? If you were dumped into this other universe and faced with this younger you and this older you, how will you respond? And it's really cool that on this call, they actually asked him, right? Because it's his Spider-Man. How would you feel if you were in this situation? How would your Spider-Man, your Peter Parker, react if you saw an older
I like how they give
one
him control
and a younger
over,
one,
like,
which was Tom Holland. So that's
his
really cool
character.
that they asked for his input. But he goes on to say, we talked a lot about mentorship, which is really cool, and I really love that about the movie. We talked a lot about brotherhood and about what it is to be the older brother, younger brother, and the middle brother. There's also a thing of seeing someone you love walking down a path that you've already walked down, and you know it doesn't lead to the place where you ultimately meant to go. And we saw this in the movie where he's telling Tom Holland's Peter Parker, I stopped holding my punches. I got bitter. And he kind of lost himself. He goes on to say that the character is isolated in his emotional experience and physical experience. But what happens when that aloneness gets blasted open and you come to realize that you've never been alone and there are other brothers going through the exact same thing? That's a big spiritual journey to go on, man. And then we just milked out all the fun that we possibly could have. And I think they definitely did. And it's very, very interesting because I think as far as the character is concerned, not him personally, but the character after losing Gwen, seeing the other two, like the whole I've always wanted brother line that he says in the movie is like really, really cool. And I think for his character, that was like a really, really huge moment for him. And I do hope we see more of his character, which we are going to talk about because he talks about. And it's just so amazing that they came back. And in fact, the next question says, you and Tobey Maguire really did this. This wasn't a green screen set up in your driveway, and they have a profound impact on Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield said, we were shooting for 2 weeks, Tobey and I, but I think we managed to achieve something that is not just showing up and going, hi, bye. My Spider-Man got to save his younger brother's romantic relationship, potentially, and to heal the most traumatic moment of his own life through doing it for his younger brother, making sure that he didn't have the same fate. There's something cosmically beautiful about that. It meant getting a second chance at saving Gwen. And that's huge. And that was, I think, to me, the best part of the film.
One of the best, sure.
Every time I've watched the movie, I have cried at that part. Because Andrew, he lands and he's crying because he's like, oh my gosh, I did it, right? I couldn't do it before. I couldn't save my Gwen.
That was a good scene. I didn't cry, though. I didn't cry at all in this movie,
right?
surprisingly.
His MJ.
I'm going to watch it again, though, and I might do it the second go around.
I did
or
it.
Third.
Right? I failed before, but I did this time. It's a huge redeeming moment. And as we can see right here from what he said, it's cosmic, right? It's a cosmically beautiful thing that he's able to do this. And it's to me, I think the best part of the movie. And they actually go on to talk about the redemption. One of the questions says, a lot of the conversation about this movie has been about a sort of redemption for your Spider-Man, narratively, commercially. How does that feel? And this is what Andrew said. I'm so grateful. I'm just really, really grateful that I got to tie up some loose ends for the Peter Parker that I was playing. I love that character, and I'm grateful that I got to work with these incredible actors, this incredible director, and Marvel in conjunction with Sony. It was joyful and a feeling of closure for me. There were so many unanswered questions for my Peter, where we left it.
Indeed,
I got to step
there
back
were.
in and get some healing for him. And also really supporting Tom Holland's Peter and honoring his character completing that trilogy, not distracting or detracting from it. And
That's
I
a good
think
point.
that's actually something they did incredibly well.
Right.
The other Spider-Man came in, but they didn't
It was
really
still
take
Tom's
away
movie.
from Tom Holland's story. They added to it, right? They became his Uncle Ben's in a type of way. They became his mentors, his older brothers. They added to everything. They didn't steal the spotlight. They shared it together for that moment, and Tom still had his spotlight at the end, and I really, really enjoyed it because I think they did that perfectly, and I think that's what Andrew is saying right here. But now for, the big question right here.
When it comes to, like, movies balancing a lot of different actors and characters, and big characters like this, that they still were able to manage and keep it, like, relatively focused in and locked in as one particular character and his particular story, Amazing job.
Would you be open to coming back to the character? Again, a lot of rumors have been going around about him returning, and here's what he says.
See what he says.
I mean, yes, definitely. open to something if it felt right.
All right.
Peter and Spider-Man, those characters are all about service to the greater good and the many. He's a working class boy from Queens that knows struggle and loss and is deeply empathetic. I would try to borrow Peter Parker's ethical framework in that. If there was an opportunity to step back in and tell more of that story, I would have to feel very sure and certain in myself. And I think after Spider-Man No Way Home, he could definitely feel sure and certain for himself because they did it right. I think if they did
it made
a project with Sony
fans
or
really
in the MCU,
yearning to see more
they
of
would
his
definitely
Spider-Man.
nail it down for his character, especially after this big redeeming moment for him and Spider-Man No Way Home. I think there's a lot more story to tell now, more than before.
I wish he Toby had gotten a third film after, like, you know, proper third film. Well, kind of proper third. They still they screwed over Sam Raimi a little bit too in his third film. That's why it was. But still, I wish, you know what I'm saying? I wish, and then his fourth film, which was supposed to happen, then that's another discussion. But yeah, I wish he at least got in this trilogy. But like I said, he still can. So hopefully, that'll come to fruition. And if that's the case, old man Spider-Man Tobey Maguire, let's do it. I don't care.
They can tell what he's gone through before. They can kind of give us, you know, a tiny little flashback of him in No Way Home, and then tell his story going on from here, how he's redeemed himself, how he's not bitter anymore. And maybe Tobey can come back, and maybe he can see Tom's Peter Parker as well. Who knows? I think there's a lot of potential here. A lot of potential.
Indeed.
And it looks like Andrew Garfield, if given the opportunity, will come back. And I think, based off of everything that we've heard from some credible insiders, they're definitely talking about it right now, working on maybe that perfect fit for him to come back as his Spider-Man. And hopefully that means the same thing for Tobey. I get it, Tobey's a little bit older, but I'd still love to see him come back. Maybe not get his own solo movie, but maybe if Andrew gets another solo movie, Tobey could appear and we could get more of the Spider-Men together.
That
again.
or
But
give him a
this is
solo.
just
Now here's the thing. I heard about the rumors with Spider-Man 4 potentially being like an animated thing for Tobey. I can see why, given he's an older fellow, you know, and being a Spider-Man, especially in a real life sense, you know, requires a lot of different physical movements and you know, it takes a lot physically. So I get it. I don't know, man, but I just want to see it. I still really do want to see it. Like, think about it. We've had plenty of actors, like, in fact, plenty of actors do majority physical stuff. Like, I mean, every actor is not the same, but look, Hugh Jackman, I'm pretty sure he was like 40, 50 something years old when he recorded. He was like, how old is he? He's like 40 something, right? Tobey Maguire's like 40. He did not old man. He did Logan. He was like 40 something. RDJ is like 50. William Dafoe was like 60 something now. And when he did the first Spider-Man film, he was like 40 something. And then as of recently, he even said like he did most of the stunts, or a good bit of his stunts in the most recent movie. So it's like, it's possible, man. Anything is possible. Hashtag Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4. Let's get it.
awesome. Andrew was finally talking about Spider-Man No Way Home after denying that he is.
I want to hear what Toby has to say though, for real though.
Obviously, we get it. He has to deny it,
because he's the more quiet
we
one.
Knew
He
that he
doesn't
could
really
just come out and say, "Hey, yeah, no, totally, I'm in the movie." But I think him going, on these talk shows and stuff, denying it, built up a lot of hype, and I think it was really, really well done. Yeah. And I loved him in No Way Home. I love Toby. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below, though. I'm hoping that he returns, and I'm hoping we get The Amazing Spider-Man 3, or he jumps into another project along the line. That's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed. I know a lot of people want that as well. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest Spider-Man news, specifically involving Andrew Garfield. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof, woof.
All right, man. Warren said it here. Yeah, Andrew Garfield finally let the cat out the bag and, discuss being in No Way Home and what it was like and working with the other actors and what it meant for his character and all that stuff. Like, all of which I agree with 100%. I've been saying, and I think a lot of us collectively, the fans, have been saying for the most part, this is very redeeming for his character. And, it must have felt good, working with each other, being the only 3 individuals to play Spider-Man in a live action like that. And you all kind of represent like a different, like almost decade, you know what I'm saying? Like the first one, Maguire, from the 2000s to like early 2000s to like late, was it 2000? We just say 2002, 2010. I don't know, something like that. And then Andrew sadly getting a shorter run from the 2012 to 2014, and then Tom being the more younger, spry, new one who's new to the scene, but he's finally becoming like his own Spider-Man, like the other ones were. So yeah, man, I just can't wait to get this movie. Like, I'm gonna get my DVD, man. I get this. I'm getting the Steelbook from Best Buy. Steelbook that has like the. If you don't know it, just look it up. But Spider-Man No Way Home Steelbook, Best Buy. Can't wait. I can't wait to watch it again at home on my TV, subwoofer, speaker, blasting. Anyways, though, y'all let me know down below in the comments, man. What are your thoughts on this? Are you looking forward to seeing a potential TASM 3 or Andrew Garfield within another Sony project, Sony villain project, I guess, considering that's majority what they do now. Also, how would you want to see, would you want to see Tobey Maguire potentially be brought back as well? And then what sense would it be, like a solo film, him appearing here and there in certain MCU, maybe even Sony stuff? Y'all let me know, man. Or animated format. I don't know. Y'all let me know down below in the comments. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at LeroySays. So same to your channel. They can also send me such gratitude. That being said, peace.